We continue with news and views this morning at 8:31 a.m. right here on Al Salam Media, and taking a look ahead at preparation for Hajj 1445, Hajj 2024. We know we've got less than 100 days to go before the month of Ramadan, and before we know what's happening, the Hajj season will be upon us once again. Now, the South African Hajj and Umrah Council has been preparing for Hajj. I think many of us have already seen the lists that have come out as well, and preparation in more ways than one, and that includes making sure that the Hajj missions, the people that go out with SAHUC, the various missions that SAHUC has in the Holy Land, and to make sure that they've got the people for the job. And they've basically issued a press release talking about applications and applicants for the Hajj and Field mission. We are now going across to be joined by none other than SAHUC's Moaaz Casoo. Hafiz Moaaz Casoo, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Inayat, and to the listeners of Salam Media. I trust you're all doing well today.
Yes, alhamdulillah, all doing well. You know, it's obviously many of us have been overwhelmed with what's taking place in Palestine, but there's so much more that we still need to do. And obviously from SAHUC's side, I'm sure everyone concerned as to what's happening in Palestine, but also you've got a job to do as far as the Hajj is concerned, preparation for Hajj as well, Hajj 1445.
Yes, correct. I think it's heartbreaking to see the visuals coming out of Palestine. I think we all feel for our Muslim brothers and sisters. At this point in time, we can just make dua for all our brothers and sisters in Palestine. And whatever we can do financially, I think we should provide to the reputable organizations who are on the ground and see how we can be of assistance to our brothers in Palestine and make dua for them.
Right, Hafiz Moaaz, let's talk about preparation for Hajj. Now, we've seen the list come out as well. People that have been accredited. We've seen SAHUC having some road shows already, in preparedness for Hajj 1445. Now, before we get to the Hajj mission applications that we want to talk about, how has that gone so far?
Alhamdulillah, it's gone well. We started the accreditation last week, Friday. We accredited 2,450 pilgrims. Subsequent to that, we had our awareness programs in Johannesburg, KwaZulu-Natal, and Cape Town with great success, alhamdulillah. So far, it's going so good. We've got over 450 Hujjaj who have accepted the accreditation to date. I think around 50 to 60 have already selected travel operators. And we've seen by this past weekend, majority, or if not all, the packages have been published on our website as well as social media platforms from the 15 accredited travel operators. So far, everything seems to be in order. Alhamdulillah, I think we should see a lot more Hujjaj accepting the accreditation over the next week or two. So we'll just wait and see how it progresses, inshallah.
Yes, and just looking at it from the other side as well, in terms of the Hajj ministry, obviously we've heard about e-visas and those things for South Africa as well. Is that likely to play out for Hajj 1445?
At this point in time, the status quo would remain the same, where the operators would be able to issue the visa from the e-Hajj system, provided the portal goes green, meaning all the housing, the transportation, accommodation, the 5 days of Hajj, the airline tickets are all secured and booked per pilgrim. Once that is in place, then inshallah, the operator who is accredited will be able to issue the visas. It will probably be a paper visa that we're seeing, similar to what you get on Umrah. But at this point in time, it will still be provided by the travel operator from the e-Hajj system.
Yes. Now, obviously, SAHUC needs to get prepared within, in terms of the various missions, whether we talk of field missions, we talk of medical missions as well, and just the press release that came out yesterday with regard to the applicants. Let's just talk about these applications, and let's just talk about the various missions that people need to think about if they wish to apply and be part and parcel of the SAHUC mission.
Okay, so alhamdulillah, we put out a press release yesterday with regards to any South African Muslim citizen that wants to apply to be a field mission worker or to be a doctor or a nurse to serve the guests of Rahman during the Hajj 1445-2024. Normally, we would get an allocation of around 60 mission workers in total. This year, unfortunately, at this specific point in time, we are only been issued with 25 mission workers. We have requested from the ministry to increase this number back to 60. Inshallah, we should get confirmation around January when we visit the kingdom with regards to receiving an increase, or would they retain the number of 25. But normally we take anything between 13 to 15 medical staff. That is a requirement by the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, that we facilitate primary health care in Medina, Mecca, Azizia, and during the 5 days of Hajj for our pilgrims. And it comes with free medication, which the Hujjaj have already paid as part of the accreditation fee. We then also need to take field mission workers to assist at the various airports, to assist the Hujjaj in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia when people get lost, people not too sure where to, they seek some guidance. So that is where the field mission workers come. They need to get permits to go into the airport, permits at restricted areas, and that is where the field mission workers come into play. So anybody that feels they have performed their Farz Hajj and they have availability for around 6 to 8 weeks to serve the guests of Rahman in the kingdom, we urge the Muslims to apply to SAHUC. Everything will be done online. It's an online portal. The applications open up tomorrow, which is Tuesday, the 12th of December at 10 a.m. And the closing date will be the 14th of January, 2024, inshallah, at 6 p.m. Once we receive all the applications, there'll be a panel that will review all the various applications that have been submitted. Interviews will be conducted with every single applicant. And inshallah, thereafter, the applicants will be informed whether they are successful or not.
Yes, I just want to come back to, you mentioned, from 60 to 25, and obviously you will make representation, but in the event of this number being 25, how is it likely to impact on SAHUC and your ability to perform the services, the various mission services to the Hujjaj?
I think it will have a major impact because we strive for service delivery in the kingdom. The ministry are also looking for service delivery from all the Hajj missions. We have informed them, if you reduce that number, obviously we cannot fulfill our duties and responsibility 100% effectively with lesser number, making sure we maintain our status quo of service delivery to the pilgrims. Having said that, from a medical perspective, we will not cut down. That is our highest priority, to ensure that we have sufficient medical staff. So that will be the highest priority. And all it will do for us, then it will put us thin on the ground in terms of field workers, which means that you're going to have very few guys on the ground, or ladies on the ground, assisting the Hujjaj at various places. And that would mean that a lot of people will be working longer hours, and it will put strain on our mission, especially coming to the 5 days of Hajj, when you're going to have teams in various positions assisting the Hajis, especially Mina, Arafat. Before the Hajis start arriving, we break up our teams. And if we are reduced to lesser number, it's going to have a major impact on service delivery in terms of managing it. But inshallah, we will work with the travel operators, because SAHUC also allows travel operators, some field workers, to go. For every 50 Hujjaj, we provide them one mission worker for the travel operator. So if our numbers are cut, inshallah, we'll have to work very closely with the travel operators, mission workers, to see how we can assist our Hujjaj on the ground, inshallah.
Yes, so I hear what you're saying, Hafiz Moaaz. So the key issues here is obviously in terms of the services at the airport. You can't compromise, obviously, on the medical workers, as you mentioned. So the key issue here would be the other services that are being offered, like, for instance, you mentioned airport, the 5 days of Hajj, Mina, Arafat, and I know that can be quite a logistical challenge at times as well, considering that, we've seen in recent years as well, many Hujjaj making use of non-special services as well. We know what some of the issues that have arisen in the past as well, where we had special services. You had the Hajj operators specifically, because they are paying, making sure that, because they paid for these services, to make sure that the Hujjaj, their needs are taken care of. But Mina, Arafat can be quite challenging without, additional manpower or woman power, for want of a better term.
Correct, 100%. But I think we are working in the background. We are taking precautionary measures in the event we don't get any additional quota allocation for our mission team. So rest assured, Judge, we will make sure that from a SAHUC perspective, we have the relevant and adequate number of field workers as well as medical team to take care of our Judge in the kingdom. Even if the number remains as 25, we will make a plan to cover up the gap that we had in the past, inshallah. So there's not to worry about. We've got contingency plans in place. We're working on it, but inshallah, we make dua that the ministry are kind enough to provide us the additional numbers that we had in the past. And I think it's not only for South Africa. They've cut down for every single Hajj mission team throughout the world. They're only giving 1% of your quota for your mission team. We have requested, and they've given us some positive feedback. We had to write a motivation. So inshallah, when we go in January, we should receive some positive feedback from the ministry.
Yes. Now I see, you've obviously detailed this quite well. In fact, I see this quite a graphic description as well in terms of the steps for Hajj mission registration, which you've made it quite actually easy, various steps. And just looking at people that want to apply, what are some of the considerations? What should they be thinking about?
So the first and foremost thing, you have to have performed your Farz Hajj. When you go with SAHUC on the mission team, you will not be performing Hajj. Unfortunately, we don't allow any of our mission team members to perform Hajj. And the reason for this is because we have found in the past when somebody is in Ihram and they are performing Hajj, whether it be a Nafil Hajj that they're performing, their service delivery is not up to 100%. People tend to focus on their Hajj and they ignore or leave the Hajis one side. And then we're not providing a perfect service to our pilgrims. So from a SAHUC perspective, you're not allowed to perform your Hajj. Yes, you will be afforded an opportunity to perform Umrah when you arrive in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You will be afforded an opportunity to perform your Wida before you leave. The same goes in Madinatul Munawwara. You will get a chance to go to the Rawda and make your Salami. But when it comes to mission team work, we do not perform our Salah in the Haram. So when we go to Medina, for example, all our Salah is performed outside or right at the back of the Haram. And when we go to Mecca, we don't perform our Salah in the Haram. And the reason for this is in the event of an emergency or an evacuation or any crisis matter that we need to take care of, if you're inside the Haram, to try and get out, especially during the peak time, can take you some time. And we cannot afford to waste any time when there's an emergency for our South African Hujjaj. Hence, we don't allow our mission team members to perform the Salahs in the Haram. Outside in the courtyard, not a problem. So it's easy entry and exit. Also, there's going to be long hours of work. We don't go there to rest. We don't go there for a holiday. Sometimes you get 3-4 hours sleep a night. Closer to the days of Hajj, sometimes we don't sleep for 2-3 days. You get a nap in between Salah or in between your breaks. But because things sometimes turn on the 24th hour and new rules and regulations are put into place, and when you think you can rest, all of a sudden there's a different dynamic put forward to you, and you got to be able to adapt and change immediately. So it is quite tiring, especially with the heat. People's got to be fit when you come onto the mission because you're not going to be sleeping a lot of hours. And the priority is to serve the guests of Rahman. That's the ultimate priority. So there's no time to rest, no time to play. When we go in the kingdom, it is time to work and to serve the guests to the best of our ability.
Yes, in fact, I've seen one of the requirements, obviously, is in terms of qualifications, is volunteer experience. And I think this is very, very important because this is exactly what it's all about. It's about volunteering, although, they would be taken care of in terms of some of the costs and, airfares, all those type of things, possibly paid a stipend as well. But it's all about volunteering, Hafiz Moaaz.
Correct, 100%. I mean, it's difficult to take somebody on a mission to serve the guests of Rahman who's never, ever served as a volunteer for any organization, whether it be a madrasa, whether it be a masjid, whether it be a humanitarian organization. So that's the first criteria that we look for, is to ensure that somebody has got some sort of experience working with volunteers, working in structures. Because when they come on the ground, if you haven't worked in a foreign country or even in South Africa, for any volunteer organization, it becomes very difficult because people are not used to the type of work you're going to be endure yourself in the kingdom. So hence, I think it is very important. Like you've mentioned, yes, we cover the cost of accommodation. We cover the cost of airline tickets. We also provide a stipend for all the pilgrims on a weekly basis. We provide you some money because obviously your meals and your laundry you got to take care of it yourself. But from time to time, alhamdulillah, wherever we reside in the kingdom, especially in Azizia, you would find the travel operators allowing us to have meals with their Hajis from time to time. So that is also an advantage for the mission team. But yeah, I think another important thing that we need to take to be cognizant of is when people come, you're going to have to go out and sacrifice for at least 6 to 8 weeks. Now, there's not many people that can get leave for that long period. But unfortunately, the reason why we have such a long duration is because our mission team needs to arrive in the kingdom before the Hujjaj arrive to prepare everything. So when the Hujjaj arrive, everything is in place. Yes, it may not be 100%, but at least 90% of all the permits, all the requirements are in place, ready to receive our Hujjaj. Hence, we need you to be available before the Hujjaj arrive, and also after Hajj. We don't want to leave the country until all our Hajis is left. So the mission teams gradually depart the country as well, and not everybody leaves at the same time. So we have to ensure we have sufficient resources at the onset as well as after Hajj to ensure that when the South African Hujjaj arrive, we are there to receive them, and when they are departing the kingdom, we are also there to ensure that they get a safe departure back to South Africa after Hajj.
Well, Jazakallah khairan so much for that, Hafiz Moaaz. I see the closing date is the 14th of January for people to apply. All the information is on the SAHUC website, inshallah. And I'm sure we will follow developments as the process unfolds as well. But for now, we thank you. We say Jazakallah for your time. We wish you all the best, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah, thank you very much. Much appreciated. And we appreciate the opportunity on Salam Media. And keep well and request for your du'as. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hafiz Moaaz Casoo, the president of the South African Hajj and Umrah Council, against the background of applications for people wanting to be part and parcel or apply to be part of the Hajj mission for Hajj 1445-2024. The time is just gone 12 minutes to 9. We're going to go for a break. We'll be back.